Fitchburg City Council, I now call this meeting to order. Please be advised that FATV is conducting audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast. I ask that anyone else in the audience who is recording this meeting to please identify themselves for the record now by standing and stating their name and city of residence. Seeing none, at this time I would ask that all electronic devices be placed into silent mode. And Councillor Schultz, would you please lead us in the salute to the flag?
Certainly. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councillor Schultz.
Here.
Councillor Van Hazinga.
Here.
Councillor Walsh.
Here.
President Zarilla.
Here.
Councillor Boschman.
Present.
Councillor Kuchar.
Here.
Councillor Cragen. Here. Councillor Cruz.
Here.
Councillor Di Natale.
Here.
Councillor Fleming.
Here.
Councillor Green.
Here.
We have 11 members present.
Thank you very much. For public forum, the public had been advised to contact the clerk's office regarding comments remotely. We have one person logged in remotely, but I believe he's here for a special presentation, not to speak at public comment. We have one person signed up on the sign-in sheet, Kim Goodwin. You may approach the center podium at this time. No need to identify. We have your information here. Just indicate what item you would like to speak on, and you'll have your 2 minutes.
Yes. Thank you for having us back. Just want to make a couple of comments as why we're still here is that the problems in West Fitchburg of the smell have not been resolved. They made an improvement, and now it has come back full strength as it is before. The comment I want to make is the underlying problem with the smell aside, the lack of communication between the Board of Health and the City Council is astonishing. At least 3 years ago, we started to put in, with the Board of Health, complaints about the smell. March of this year, I believe it was, we went to the Board of Health and we spoke our piece about the smell. And the Board of Health members as a whole said they had no idea this was going on. That's the first they had heard of it. So last month, or actually 2 weeks ago, when the City Council was supposed to hear the report about Griff, we were exasperated again that the Board of Health didn't show up to read their report. So we went to the Board of Health last week and explained to them of our disappointment that nobody came to the meeting to read the report. And the other members of the Board of Health said, oh, we didn't know we were supposed to be there. So there is a complete and absolute lack of communication between the Board of Health and the City Council. And we're getting very frustrated with the lack of resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. And normally I don't respond directly to public comments, but in this case, I'll say that's on me. We don't usually have communication directly between the council and other boards and commissions necessary, so it didn't occur to me that we needed to do anything outside our normal process, but that's on me. I apologize, and going forward, I will make sure that if anything like that comes up, I will personally notify the relevant board or commission.
Thank you very much.
Any other public comment at this time? You may approach the center podium and identify yourself. Seeing none, we have several announcements. On Thursday, September 19th, a meeting of the Widowed Helping Widowed Support Group will take place from 4 until 5:30 p.m. in room 205 at the Fitchburg State University Recreation Center, 130 North Street. Kelly Lynn and Bernie Schultz will co-facilitate the meeting. On Thursday, September 26th, 2024, a meeting of the Widowed Helping Widowed Support Group will take place from 2:30 until 4 in the fireplace room of the Fitchburg Senior Center. Bonnie Shaler and Bernie Schultz will co-facilitate. Author Grant Liera will discuss his new book at the Fitchburg Historical Society, 781 Main Street, right across the street, in the Phoenix Building, on Saturday, October 19th at 1 p.m. Liera's Finding Fanny is the history and love story of Fitchburg's Fanny Woolacott Johnson, her husband Dean E. Johnson, and his second wife, Janet Louise Murphy. Fanny was from Fitchburg and the younger sister of Fitchburg Mayor Alfred Woolacott. Grant Liera lives in New York City and is the great-grandson of longtime Mayor Woolacott, a great-grandson of Fitchburg Mayor Benjamin Cook, and step-great-grandson of Mayor Joseph Albert Lowe. So this guy's tied into the Fitchburg community, apparently. In his visit to Fitchburg, the author will share the story of how he came to discover his Woolacott ancestry and would also like to hear from anyone in Fitchburg who has memories of his late father, P.J. Woolacott, his great-grandfather Alfred, or any of his other Fitchburg ancestors. The program is free to the public and is part of the Fitchburg Open Studios weekend celebration taking place October 19th and 20th. For more information, please contact the Fitchburg Historical Society at 978-345-1157 or director@fitchburghistoricalsociety.com or visit www.fitchburghistoricalsociety.com. The Friends of Fitchburg Cemeteries is a new group that has formed to create a nonprofit organization to assist the City of Fitchburg in supporting our historic city cemeteries. 2 events are coming up. The first is the Listen to Nature Tour and Visit Historic Local Graves on Sunday, September 22nd, starting at 6 p.m., rain or shine. That will meet at the pond at Forest Hill Cemetery, where you can park in the lot on the corner of Mount Elam Road and Electric Ave. You should bring a journal or sketchbook and a camp chair for the first part, and wear sturdy shoes if you wish to go on the grave tour. Secondly, the Thurston Consort will be at the Forest Hill Abbey, otherwise known as the Mausoleum at Forest Hill Cemetery, on Saturday, October 5th at 2 p.m. Seating will be limited. For more information on either of these events, email friendsoffitchburgcemeteries@gmail.com. That's Friends of Fitchburg Cemeteries, all one word, @gmail.com. Our area pet shelters are in crisis right now, with too many young animals being born who are not finding homes. Please be a responsible pet owner and fix your pets. For cat owners, the Catmobile is coming to Fitchburg on Thursday, September 19th, starting at 8:30 a.m. Pre-registration and payment must be completed online at mrfrs.org. That's mrfrs.org. The cost is $175 for female cats and $125 for male cats. The New Players Theater Guild opens their fall season with the Rocky Horror Show opening October 17th. You can visit nptg.org for tickets. Stratton Players opens Shorts in Church, a festival of short comedies, on Friday and Saturday, September 27th and 28th. And you can email strattonplayers@gmail.com for tickets. The Leominster Historical Society is doing a 1774 in context Johnny Appleseed's birth year exhibit and lecture at 7 p.m. in where?
Leominster Historical Society, 17 School Street, Leominster.
Thank you very much. Everyone get that? Leominster Historical Society. What was the address again?
17 School Street, Leominster.
Thank you, Counselor. And there is a Ward 3 meeting hosted by Counselor Kuchar September 19th here in the Legislative Building at 5 p.m. Thank you. All right. Next, we have the report of the Appointments Committee. Councillor Kuchar.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Appointments Committee met earlier this evening. We took up 4 new appointments to the Fitchburg Cultural Council, term to expire September 17th, 2027. Mike Amandeo, Daniel Dow, Jennifer Hemingway, and Lillian Gomez Fernandez, all were approved.
Councilor Brochman.
I was just wondering if the people could stand up so I know who they are.
If you wish, it's not mandatory, but go right ahead. If anyone would like to introduce themselves, that's fine by me.
Okay.
Daniel Dow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. And thank you all for agreeing to serve. Do I have...
Motion to approve the report? Second.
I have a motion and second. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I have another question or comment on the motion?
Yep. My question is this. I will not be able to, I am very much in favor of the Fitchburg Cultural Council and am very much in favor of these new members. However, because I am affiliated with some organizations that do apply annually for grants, I feel I need to recuse myself from this particular vote, but I'm sure you will have the confidence of my colleagues.
All right. If you're recusing, I need to ask you to step out into the lobby.
Of course.
Motion to approve.
All right. So I have the motion and second. Is there any objection? All right. It is approved unanimously. And Councillor Cragen, you can re-enter at any time. Sorry for the short walk.
He's waving to the little boy.
That's fine. Next up, we have the report of the Committee on Records. Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have reviewed the records and they appear to be in order.
Make a motion to accept. Second.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and second to accept the report of the Committee on Records. Any objections? Seeing none, it is approved. And then next we do have, I see Mr. Michaud. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
You are. Thank you.
Okay, I see we have Mr. Michaud with us, and thank you for the presentation regarding Greif paper and the complaints received from the residents of Oak Ridge condominiums and surrounding. Unless there's anything specific that the Board of Health would like to add as preliminary, we can do this in whatever order is convenient for Director Curry and Mr. Michaud. All set?
Sure, I'd be glad to go first.
Certainly.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Michaud. I'm the Vice President of Manufacturing for Newark, which owns the Fitchburg Mill, and it's a subsidiary of Greif. You've asked me to appear to explain what's being done about the odor and what the specific timeline is, and just wanted to give you a little bit of background. On April 25th of this year, I presented to the Board of Trustees, the Board of Health, and as well as Mr. Goodwin, who was there, that we were undertaking a project that would take us to October 15th to revert to a prior treatment methodology. We thought at that time it was going to spend, it would cost $500,000. It's more than doubled in cost since then. We remain on track to complete that system reversion, which also required a notification to the Fitchburg's wastewater treatment division of a change to the modification to the pretreatment system. So that work has been underway. It involves changing the nature of the treatment, which we think will substantially reduce the odor. Again, the change that we had 3 years ago, Mr. Goodwin referenced, is true. We changed the water system and it changed the nature of the odor, to which some of our neighbors are very sensitive to. So we've undertaken that capital project to correct that, and that should complete October 15th. At that time, we also explained that it would take 4 to 6 weeks of transition as the system changes from what it used to be to what it is, and reduces the nature of the water. The recycled water that we use, we recycle quite a bit of water. I provided a project schedule Gantt chart in July to the Board of Health, which I provided to you, Mr. President. And if there's any questions on that, I'd be glad to take them.
Does anyone have any questions at this time? Vice President Van Hazinga.
Yes, Mr. Michaud. So just driving through the neighborhood, the odor has been particularly offensive over the past week. Is there something that's changed in the past week that has made this worse? Because driving in a car with the windows up, it's been quite offensive. I can't imagine living in that area.
I think I could only point to weather patterns and the direction of wind and inversions. If you come to the site and you're on the site, you often don't smell anything at all. So I think some of that moves up, the wind carries it and carries it down again, maybe perhaps the hotter weather that we're having. So all of the waters that will be returned to the mill will be recycled. We'll go through this pretreatment system as opposed to what we currently have, which is just a portion of that.
So is this system that's being put in place now, was this previously in use 3 years ago before the odor issues started?
Yes.
So
and it is enhanced. Oh, sorry, your question?
Oh, no, go ahead.
We're reverting to the prior system, but we're enhancing the system with the best known technology. So it's got different diffusers for aeration. It has decanters, it has different mixers. So it'll be the best of the system, which is more than capacity to treat the waters. It will also have another device that we installed 3 years ago in hopes that on its own would improve the water system, not for odor, but for the characteristics of what goes to the wastewater treatment plant. They requested that we reduce our solids going to them. So we're going to have all of that equipment all in line and in process, so it'll be the best of the system that we've ever had at the site.
Okay. I'm glad that the issue is going to be addressed and hopefully this improves it. I am curious why the decision was made 3 years ago to adopt a system that led to such problems with odor. Was that considered in the decision?
Well, we thought that would be an improvement. The system would use less energy. It installed a dissolved air flotation clarifier so that you would float the solids to the top, and then a continuously aerated system, which would only use one of those tanks. That, with our consultants, thought that would be an improvement. And in some ways it was an improvement, but it did change the nature of the odor. And I will say that we didn't have any complaints in August, for example, but we do have complaints, and oftentimes it isn't always the paper mill. Sometimes it's the landfill, sometimes it's something else in town. But we do know that it changed the nature of the odor, so we think the best thing to do is to go back to it and enhance it and improve it.
Okay, that's all I have.
Councillor Green.
Yeah, Mr. Michaud, could you walk through the process of when paper is made or the leftover residual waste, which you're calling the recycled water, is that through evaporation, or when is this odor occurring, I guess? Is it when you are flushing? Is it every day? Is it the water that's gone through the pulp process, but before it gets recycled to return back to the pulp process?
Well, that's a great question. Excuse me, when you make paper, we particularly bring in bales of corrugated that's 100% paper, and we add water to it, and we try to bring it down to a very low consistency so that you can clean it essentially down to 0.5% of paper to water. So when you do that, a tremendous amount of water is needed. That water is freed up when you do make paper. Some of it's evaporated, and some of it goes back for a primary treatment and then returns to the mill. In our capacity here in Massachusetts, we have a secondary and a tertiary treatment system, which we offered to send our water directly to the wastewater plant in East Fitchburg, but they can't handle that load. So we do several more process treatments, and then the water a portion of it is effluented to the city's treatment works, and then the rest of it is returned to the mill. In the change that we did, we returned that processed water to the mill after the first stage only. So this is going back to treating both stages and then a third stage going to the treatment works.
Okay, and what level of production are you doing now up there? Do you run 24/7, 365?
We do.
And so moving forward with your growth that's expected, how are we going to stay on top of this with the new system in place? Like, will there ever be a point in time where it's like, uh-oh, we're producing more than this system can handle, and here we are again with the smell?
Well, and that's also a good question. The production of paper isn't necessarily tied to the treatment efficiency. So the treatment efficiency that we have more capacity to treat all of the waters. We just weren't using it, so we have to use that system. We were required to have Class 5 operators on site. It's a very complicated system of managing nutrients, much like the wastewater treatment in Fitchburg. Nutrients, the hydrogen peroxide, the dissolved oxygen, all of those things in the health of the system have to work, and we've got to manage the new system that we have.
Okay. Are you willing, if that time comes again, are you willing to come before us and explain maybe when the first round of complaints start coming back in? Would you be willing to sit down with us again and give us an update before it gets 4 years down the road and we've got lots of angry residents?
Yes, absolutely. We have deployed a third party to come out when there's an odor on C-Click Fix that matches either West Fitchburg and would suggest that it's the mill. There are some odors that it doesn't make sense to send somebody out to investigate when it's clearly not anything in West Fitchburg or the mill. But we have that so that we can measure the magnitude. And since we've had that going in August, we have received up to a 2 out of 5. So, there is a 2 is detectable and persistent. 1 is intermittently that you can detect it, and 0 is you can't detect it at all. So we have that in place that as we bring the new system online and it improves, that we would expect to have less complaints, and then the magnitude as we go out there would continue to reduce. We also meet with the Board of Health over the last 2 years, every month. And the wastewater division participates in that with Inspector Curry. So they have a direct line to us on when there are concerns, and we aim to be good neighbors and address them.
All right. Thank you very much.
Councillor Kuchar.
Thank you. I just want to get this right. So the construction and the project is going to be done by October 15th, but there's going to be another 4 to 6 weeks after that to get the whole system online. Is that what you're saying?
It's about 5 million gallons of water, so that's correct. The system will go online, and very quickly the improvement of the recycled water will improve. 1, because we have to bring in some fresh water, and 2, because we'll have 2 systems treating at once. But we have to treat all that 5 million gallons. And how we measure that is the biological oxygen demand of the water. And as that is treated, it will reduce and reduce and reduce. That's expected to take 4 to 6 weeks. So there'll be an immediate improvement and then a persistent improvement over the 4 to 6 weeks. Hope that helps.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Councillor Giansali.
Sir, you used the words may and think. Can you guarantee tonight that this is going to fix the problem so we don't get bothered anymore about this?
It's our best effort, and we believe that we'll be successful.
How long, this is from Mr., when did these complaints start? I've been here 17 years, and I know it was more than 3 years ago.
I've been here 30, and they started back in the 90s when it was a different company and a different owner.
But under Greif, when did this start?
It was around 2020, I believe, that it started up again.
And so the mitigation efforts that were employed by this company previously have failed. Is that a fair statement?
I would say there are more complaints and more odors determined by inspection, so I would say that's an accurate statement.
So, I mean, forgive me if I have no confidence at this point. I need to be proven wrong that this is going to fix the issue. Because we were told, I have the emails, they're mitigating, and yet when I drive down Franklin Road, I have to roll the windows up.
Right.
So I don't know if mitigation is a term that doesn't comport to the English language, because I don't know what the hell they're doing over there.
Counselor, I share your concerns. We are returning to a system that did produce complaints 3 or 4 years ago. We are preparing, if necessary, legal action. We are also looking at many of the some trade laws that exist on the books. We'll take necessary steps to go in that direction if things do not improve.
What's your name, sir, on the phone?
Mr. Michaud.
Mr. Michaud, you said something, I may be wrong here, but do you and your employees smell this at the plant? You said
Counselor,
it drifts off.
if I may answer that, one of the reasons we asked for the third-party inspector is because they are desensitized at the plant. They don't notice it as much as the odor exists. So that was one of the reasons why the third party. I will say that Mr. Michaud and crew has been. Let me also say that the residents are frustrated. I share the same frustration. I get it. It's been a long time, but Mr. Michaud and crew has been very cooperative and trying to be a good neighbor and try to do the right things. He has hired a third party, as he mentioned. He's also hired engineers to continue to monitor the system per our request. I believe the only thing that he has not done is provide a hotline for the residents to call, but we were able to connect. His third party gets notified directly from a complaint from our C-Click Fix system. So that kind of sped up the response to do inspections, which is very helpful, because by the time I see the complaint and respond to it, it's either all over or going to happen again in a few hours.
But the residents in that neighborhood don't believe it's all over. They smell it consistently.
Well, they're in construction now, and they have emptied tanks, and they are now vacuuming out solids out of those tanks. I believe that could contribute to the smell. Don't forget, councilors, that this septage or sewage that comes or that drains into our wastewater treatment plant, which is the West plant, they are the only facility contributing to that West plant. So if the West plant, which is not totally functional, is maintained as it should, the odor can, and we've witnessed it, the odor can persist from the wastewater treatment plant. So there's a fine line there.
So what are we doing about that?
Well, we're working with the wastewater commissioner to get a regular cleaning, and things have been good in the last month or so on a regular cleaning basis, so that the wastewater treatment plant is not the main cause, but it still, when there is a problem from the waters from the plant, wastewater from the plant, it's exacerbated by the wastewater treatment plant because it's the only contributor to the wastewater treatment plant.
Okay.
Which puts me in a very difficult position.
This company, for me, is right up there with Waste Management, my other favorite company. Okay? And they've lost all credibility. They're dead to me.
Yep.
They're close. If this doesn't work by October, Councilor Green said that they need to, can you guys come before us like we're asking them? I say we demand they come before us every 3 months, or get a report from your office, how many complaints, what the level of the odors are, every 3 months. I don't even care if it works the first month and everyone goes like this, oh, it must have worked. I want reports for the next 3 years. every 3 months. I want to keep their toes on the fire, because this is like a bad thigh rash that won't go away.
Well, Counselor, I'm actually considering, I mentioned earlier noisome trades, those laws are made to site assign. We would explore site assigning the facility, which means that we would have meetings and they would be able to provide funding to hire engineers or whatever is necessary to either correct the problem or we would stop the action and start up from scratch and try to address the issue from a professional standpoint rather than the way we're doing it now.
I don't know if this is a vote of the council to do this, but I still feel like we need to have them, if not them, a report from your office every 3 months, how many complaints, what the third party has reported, so we get a rolling tally of what the actual progress is on this supposed fix that's going to work. Because as you can tell, like I've had it with this. I'm annoyed because it hasn't stopped.
I share your concerns.
And you know, I'm supposed to sit here and go, yay, kumbaya, they're going to fix it. I don't care. Proof's in the pudding. I don't want to see any complaints
Counselor,
anymore.
Just a moment, Counselor. I'm not cutting you off or anything. I just figure this is a good point to ask. Director Curry and Madam Mayor, would there be any objection to having such a report provided to the council on a regular basis?
No objection from me.
And the other thing,
I would say that we could add it to the West Fitchburg Odor Working Group, maybe?
So back in July, I started up a West Fitchburg Odor Group, and many of the contributors, we just haven't had another meeting since July, but people are back from vacations and such now, so I'll be putting that back together very shortly. But it's helpful that all the facilities, I mean, we have marijuana facilities and we have the landfill, some of the main contributors to all the problems, but it's great that they get together and talk about how they've corrected their odor problems and what steps they have taken. So I have found that has been helpful. Even officials from Brief have been sharing what they have done, and it's been helpful to the other facilities as well. So yes, wouldn't object to sharing that information as well.
That sounds like that would be very useful to us. If you could share sort of a summary of what has been discussed and what's been come up with. Would that help with your issue, Councillor?
yeah, yes, I just want something tangible that will show, and it's not optics for me, it's to show the residents of West Fitchburg, who I apologize to the residents of West Fitchburg for what they've had to endure the last 4 years with this. It's not much, my apology, but I know that there are residents there who think we don't care, and I am first to say that I do care, but I did not care enough. And that's my fault. I could have made a bigger stink about this 3 or 4 years ago, and I didn't. And that's on me. Because when I drive through there, it's unbearable sometimes. And I can't imagine living there and sleeping there. But I didn't have those effects, so I put it on the back burner with everything else I'm dealing with, and didn't give it the attention that it deserved, and I apologize for that. Big mistake on my part. I'm not going to make that same mistake again, because I'm going to hold these guys to the same standard I hold our crack recycling group, all right? Because I've had it with this. These people pay taxes, they live there, most of them are retired. It is not a pleasant living environment. And now that we're here 4 years later talking about what they're going to do, that's why I'm upset right now. It's like, I didn't do enough, and hopefully this will fix it, but I want them held accountable. Because I know how this story plays out sometimes. We got to fix, and then we never hear from them again. Not going to happen this time. So, that's it.
Anyone else at this time? I'll just comment that, yeah, I very much hope that this fix is as successful as projected. If so, great. But I do agree with my fellow councillor. I'd like to see some metrics on it so that we can keep track of it proactively this time around. Otherwise, you know, in some sense, I get it. You know, sometimes you don't know how a new process is going to work out until you try it, and then if you find out it's not doing what you wanted it to, it takes time to change course. I get that. But I do think this is on the overdue side of things, and I'm glad that it's getting done. Councillor Fleming.
Yeah, just a thought. Does this have anything to do with all the regulations with the PFAS trying to manage that? Is that the cause of maybe the odors that?
Let me see, because I think the answer is no, but I'll ask. We can ask someone who knows more than I do. Mr. Michaud, do you perform any of the steps of wastewater treatment at your facility that are designed to address PFAS, or does that happen only after you discharge to the wastewater? You're still muted, sir.
The residuals that come off of the treatment system go to incineration. They used to go to composting, so no change to the system. They just leave the site.
Okay. No problem. So, Councillor Green.
I do have just one other question. How is the WFOG group, or the West Fitchburg Odor Group, is that open to the public, or how can people who may be listening, or residents of that area, how do they get involved with that?
So it hasn't been a public meeting because it's just been put together, but we can definitely discuss that at our next meeting, and then if folks are willing, be able to provide that to the residents. I don't want to put them on the spot without asking them first.
Okay, sorry. Is Councillor Kuchar part of this group?
Councillor Kuchar is not part of that group, but we will certainly invite him.
Okay, thank you.
And just one moment, Councillor. I just wanted to note that I think it's a good idea to get some information out to the public on this, but thinking about it on a practical level, it's probably best to keep the meetings themselves non-public, because then that incentivizes the various potential contributors to the odor to discuss things very frankly and openly with one another that they might not necessarily want to make a public record of. So perhaps we can get both, Councillor Kuchar's summary from attendance and some kind of executive summary of what's discussed at each meeting, but without necessarily having the meeting itself televised or open to the public, because that can sometimes inhibit frank, open discussion. And since Councillor Schultz has not spoken yet, I'm going to go to him first. Councillor Schultz.
I was just going to ask, who are the members of the West Fitchburg Odor Group?
There are two facilities. I believe it's Ethos and Native Sun. They are the marijuana facilities out there. Folks from the landfill are present. Grief officials are there. We have seen a request from a third marijuana facility, which is on Oak Hill Road, not necessarily in West Fitchburg, but we felt that they could benefit from information discussed at the meeting. So they will be in attendance at the next meeting. I think I've covered all the contributors.
How soon will we get a summary of the next meeting maybe from Councillor Kuchar? When is the next meeting?
Well, I can share you a summary from the mayor was helpful in putting meeting minutes together from the last one. I can share that, and as soon as we have that meeting within the next couple of weeks, we can share that information as soon as a few days after the meeting.
Okay, thank you. I yield the floor.
Thank you. Councillor Kuchar.
Thank you. Mr. Curry and Mr. Michaud, during our many meetings that we had in regards to the West Fitchburg odor issue, There were discussions about getting air quality meters, distributed to some of the areas that are most affected by the West Fitchburg odor. What have the developments been in regards to getting the meters in order to test the air samples to find out what is in this odor? Is it toxic? Is it is it harmful to humans? Harmful to animals? Where are we in that process?
So, Mr. Michaud can help out with this question, but there were grants available. Mr. and Mrs. Goodwin did mention DEP grants. These devices measure particulates. I did discuss the devices with DEP officials, and they have informed me that these devices will not help with this situation. Mr. Michaud has also offered to purchase the city a hydrogen sulfide meter, I believe it was H2S meter. He has, or the Grief has, H2S sensors on their property. So it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me to put H2S sensors in. If they're not going off on his property, they're certainly not going to go off on Oak Ridge Condos property. So there really isn't a device that I can find that would help with this matter. Mr. Michaud can certainly comment on that. He knows a little bit more about that, but if you
one of the markers of odor, often from pulp and paper, is hydrogen sulfide, and very, very low levels can be detected. So that was something that we offered to purchase, so that, because we go almost every day to these sites to check on our way into work and see if we can detect the odor, but it's very infrequent in terms of weather patterns. I'm sure it must be, but again, I don't know what else we could offer to purchase other than the hydrogen sulfide meters.
Don't you think that, at least for the benefit of Oak Ridge condominiums, which is, the area that is I get the most complaints from. I mean, I get complaints all over West Fitchburg, but a good majority of them come from the Oak Ridge condominiums. Wouldn't it be behooving to us to at least put up one of these sensors? Because they might not smell it, their sensors might not be going off, but Oak Ridge might be higher in elevation. I've never really looked, but just by sight, it more than likely is. Wouldn't it be worthwhile just to put one up, even on a temporary basis, to see if something is occurring?
They have hydrogen, portable hydrogen meters, so they could perform the test up at the condos. Am I correct, Mr. Michaud?
Yeah, we certainly can do that. Can have them take it with them and to the site for the odor. Certainly.
Now, is this a big device, a handheld device? What exactly are?
It's handheld.
Okay. Are they difficult to operate?
No, I don't think so. They have to be calibrated frequently.
Okay.
The device does cost $10,000, so I didn't.
Well, considering this
want to spend $10,000 on something that's going to give a false sense of security, I would rather have them spend the $10,000 on correcting the problem.
Right. Well, considering this has lasted for 4 years, and every time I've broached the subject with the Board of Health, the single answer that I got was it's the dump, it's the wastewater treatment plant. There was never a finger pointed at Griff Paper. For the entire time.
Because it's not a there are other.
Sometimes there are.
They are not 100% of the problem in West Fitchburg.
Okay. Well, I would at least like one brought up there to test it. Just even if it's one that the company owns, and then those readings get sent to the council as well as myself as first, and I'll distribute it with the council to see if there's something recognizable up there. Thank you.
Thank you. For the sake of avoiding potential false negatives, I would suggest that contact be made with the residents to inquire as to what days and times are usually the worst, so that we can get a reading at one of the times when the odor is the worst. Because what I'm hearing is that occasionally when the company's representatives go to test, they're not getting anything, but I assume this odor probably varies over the course of each day, higher and lower at different times. So perhaps we can figure out how to target those sort of hot spots. Anyone else with questions before we wrap this up? All right. Thank you, Mr. Michaud, for being present with us this evening and for your cooperation in this matter. I hope that everything does go according to plan and that when we get our next update on this, we can say, congratulations, you did exactly what you told us you'd do. So thank you. And thank you to our residents for bringing this forward to us and for being patient and persistent with us. We will do our best to make sure that this gets resolved as has been discussed. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to move on then to the report of the Finance Committee. And Councillor Giannatali, I assume you'll, I'll take this one. All right, so Finance Committee met on September 11th, took up 4 matters: a grant of $5,000 from State Homeland Security Emergency Management to purchase equipment for the Fire Department's Community Emergency Response Team, $25,000 from Fitchburg State University from Mass Development through Fitchburg State University for the creation of a downtown management organization, $17,000 charged against the tax levy to law expenses, damages, personal property. This was to cover the insurance deductible on a claim that was settled. And I'll say again to councillors who weren't here at the finance meeting, because this pertains to a settlement, we cannot get most details about this. We can't ask a bunch of questions about it because it's confidential. But I'll just reiterate, this is to do with the insurance, not premium. What's the word I'm looking for? Deductible, thank you. Insurance deductible. So it has nothing to do with any decisions or performance issues by the legal department or by the city. And last, we had $10,000 from Community Development Expense Municipal Hearing Officer to Community Development Personal Services Municipal Hearing Officer. And this is simply to reflect bringing the municipal hearing officer on as a part-time, non-benefited city employee. Any questions or comments? All of these were approved, or recommended for approval, rather.
Move to accept.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any objections? Seeing none, it is unanimous. Since he was out, don't count him. Next, we have 2 items going to Finance, 172 and 17324. 172 is $37,800 charged against the 25 tax levy credited to police maintenance of building repair and care, and 17324 expenditure of grant funds in the amount of $18,963.57 received from FSU originating from Mass Development to fulfill the TDI in-town commitments made to fund programming, marketing, and needed repairs at Mill Street. Those will both stand referred to the Finance Committee. I have a request for suspension of the rules on 17424. Order that there be and hereby is appropriated the sum of $111,261.32 from Reserve for Appropriation PEG Access Cable Franchise Fee. This is our quarterly remittance to FATV.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Second?
I have a motion and second. Is there any objection to suspension of the rules on this item? Seeing none, it is before the council.
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve 174-24. Councilor Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. President. And just, I've had some issues come up in the past with constituents who are a little, weren't sure where the money comes from and how we pay for the pay access. And I just want it to be clear for those watching, this is money that we receive from cable providers that then goes to FATV. We are merely the mechanism of moving those finances. So this money does not come from the general fund. It comes from cable providers to FATV. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.
Thank you for that clarification. I'll further add that this is money that is charged to the cable providers specifically for the purpose of promoting and facilitating local access cable, and therefore would not be appropriate for us to spend on anything other than FATV, even if we were hanging on to it. So, Councillor Cragen.
Sure. I just wanted to add that FATV has recently lost their executive director as well as a regular producer, and so they are shorthanded at this time. So I wanted to thank Dan over in the booth and all the FATV filming that happens that makes it possible for our residents to see the work of government out in the public. And that the FATV annual meeting is next Monday at 5:30 on the 23rd of September. And there is nothing like what you're seeing. You can walk by this building and you can see what we're doing, or you can sit at home and see what we're doing. So I was really glad to see this, and I agree, Councillor Cruz, there is no reason for us to have anything other than approval immediately. Thank you.
Councillor Cruz.
Thank you, Councillor Cragen, for those kind words about FATV. I second them. Just for clarification, their station manager is moved to a part-time basis. The executive director, wonderful executive director, is still full-time working for FATV. I yield the floor. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councillor Cragen.
I actually misspoke. I didn't mean executive director at all. I meant Ann Bisbee, who has been overseeing the work of the station. Nate Glennie, thankfully, is very, very much still our executive director. Sorry, Nate. Does it for me.
We all nerved up here.
So with those clarifications, I will second, or I guess in this case third, all the sentiments that FATV is a unique resource that this city has that really is unmatched throughout most of the state. I would say all of the state. And I want to see us support them more to the extent that we are financially able to do so. So any order that is intended towards that purpose is an automatic thing for me. That said, do I have any objections to approval? All right, seeing none, it is unanimous.
Excuse me, do we have to have a vote on suspension of the rules?
We did. We took it unanimously.
Okay, thank you.
16024, this is a loan order in final reading. As this is the final reading, I am going to read out the whole thing. I will try to make it quick. Loan order that $12,700,000 aggregate amount is appropriated for the following projects, including all costs incidental and related thereto, which amount may be apportioned to such projects as needed to accomplish the projects. 1. Rehabilitation and or upgrade of the Meeting House, Gatehouse, and Mare Meadow Pump Station at an estimated cost of $4,400,000. 2. Main Street Water Main Replacement Project at an estimated cost of $6 million, which amount is expected to be used in addition to certain American Rescue Plan Act funds available for the project. And 3. Regional Water Treatment Plant Roof Replacement and Weatherproofing Project at an estimated cost of $2,300,000. That to meet this appropriation, the Treasurer, with the approval of the Mayor, is authorized to borrow $12,700,000 under General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 8, or any other enabling authority, that the mayor is authorized to contract for and expend any federal or state aid available for the projects, that the mayor is authorized to take any other action necessary to carry out the projects, and that the treasurer is authorized to file an application with the Municipal Finance Oversight Board to qualify under Chapter 44A of the General Laws any or all bonds authorized by this order, and to provide such information and execute such documents as the Municipal Finance Oversight Board may require for these purposes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and second to approve. Again, this is the final reading, so I'll take this by roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Counselor Schultz.
Yes.
Counselor Van Hazinga.
Yes.
Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
President Zarella.
Yes.
Counselor Boschman.
Yes.
Counselor Kuchar.
Yes.
Counselor Cragan.
Yes.
Counselor Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Di Natale.
Yes.
Counselor Fleming.
Yes.
Counselor Green.
Yes.
That passes 11.
Thank you very much. Next, we have 17524, an ordinance in first reading. This is the recreational and snow vehicles ordinance that we discussed at our last council meeting in petition form. I know there are some amendments that need to be made per the legal department, but as this is only the first reading and the legal department is not present this evening, my recommendation to the council would be that we approve it and take up the amendments before the final reading at our next meeting, when hopefully we will have legal counsel here to address any questions that we may have.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve, to put 17524 through its first reading. Do I have any objection? Seeing none, it is unanimous. We have 3 items to be referred to committee. 17624, Councillor Cruz, Councillor Cragan, and Councillor Walsh to adopt or to instruct the City of Fitchburg to adopt a fee structure for public records requests. With the permission of the sponsors, I will forego reading the specific provisions at this time. That will stand referred to Legislative Affairs. 17724, Community Development and Planning Department requesting that the City Council designate the municipal hearing officer position as a special municipal employee. That will also stand referred to Legislative Affairs. And 17824, Councillor Schultz on behalf of Roseanne Adoricio of 84 Newton Street to install a berm to replace a previous berm located at this address many years ago. Previous berm's location washed away, creating a trench. That will stand referred to Public Works. Last on our agenda, we have to formally address an open meeting law complaint that was received. I'm not sure, have all of you had a chance to review it in your file, or do you need me to summarize the substance of it? Well, I guess I'll summarize it anyway because we have to address it. The crux of the complaint is that prior to our last meeting, allegedly, we altered the agenda to include item 17124. I believe it was 17124. Yes, thank you. Without duly posting that update. And that therefore we violated open meeting law by discussing 17124 and voting on it without having posted it properly. Any and all councillors will certainly have an opportunity to weigh in if they wish, but I will start off by saying that this is simply an incorrect interpretation of the available data. What happened was that the city website, the website agenda portal says, for that agenda, says September 5th amended, and then on the next line says August 30th. What it means and what the date stamp on the agenda itself will show is that the agenda was amended on August 30th. It's listed as September 5th because that's the date of the meeting. No amendment was made on September 5th or between August 30th and September 5th, and the date-stamped agendas, which are re-stamped every time an amendment is made, can substantiate that. 17124 did not appear after 17024, but that's just because of the order in which they were addressed. It was further up on the agenda. So it may have appeared at a cursory glance that the agenda ended at 170 and then we took up 171 for some reason. That's simply a matter of reading past 171 without noticing that it was there out of order. So my recommendation would be that the council simply vote to deem this complaint unsubstantiated and take no action upon it. But I would be more than happy to entertain any questions, comments, or discussion from fellow councilors. Councilor Green.
This is devil's advocate. When situations like this arise, which happens to be almost on a daily basis now, how is it always going to be addressed this way, that when we are notified that there's a formal complaint being made with a violation of open meeting law, are we at the next meeting then going to discuss to correct that? Or what is going to be our procedure moving forward with these complaints?
So insofar as specifically open meeting law complaints, we are required by law to discuss them as a body and to vote on what action, remedial or otherwise, will be taken on the subject, and to notify the state of what action was taken, including dismissal. So we do have to do that, which is one reason why, as much as I would strongly encourage all residents to, stand by their rights under the open meeting law, if you have an issue arising under the open meeting law that may not require a formal complaint, please reach out beforehand, because otherwise it takes up time that we could be spending on other city business, or, frankly, at home with our families, to address something that is insubstantial and could have been addressed without a formal complaint.
I guess still speaking to that is what is the mechanism to keep naysayers uninformed, not reading past what's on the portal, maybe to the next page, or however it's printed up differently, wherever the confusion is? What is the mechanism to keep it from being false or misinformation going forward to the state level and then having to come to us to spend the time to literally litigate it being a misnomer?
As far as the way the state statute is currently structured, there really isn't any way around it. The best we could do is, if there is one that appears to the whole council to be insubstantial, then when it comes up on the agenda, we could just take a very quick motion to essentially dispose of it without having to actually, there's no requirement that we actually discuss the substance of it as long as we address it as a body. So if it's clear simply on the pleadings, so to speak, that there's no substance to it, if you look at the open meeting law complaint and you're like, there's nothing here, then it would be entirely appropriate when I say, okay, now it's time to discuss this open meeting law complaint, for someone to just say, move that we find it insubstantial and dismiss, or something like that, and we can move on with no further discussion. That's the best we can do, really, to handle it quickly and efficiently, because the state doesn't allow us to dismiss it without bringing it forward to the body.
Okay, thank you.
Vice President Van Hazinga.
Thank you, Mr. President. Open meeting laws are very important. It's very important that government is conducted in public and people are able to observe what's happening and observe the discussion. As the tagline the Washington Post uses, democracy dies in darkness. That being said, this open meeting law complaint is just one of a series of complaints that is being made by one individual that are all unsubstantiated, frivolous, and being used to attack members of different boards, or members of the council, different committees, and they're not actually to preserve open access, to observe government happening, to observe open meetings. Just today, I received, or we all did, an email with 2 copies of open meeting law complaints that were completely blank. She didn't even fill them out this time. So I mean, this is not to preserve access to government. It's just being used to waste the city's resources, to rack up legal bills, and to attack individuals. And I don't know what we can do about it, but that's what the situation is, and that's what's happening. So I think as a government, we have a responsibility to be open and clear about what we're doing and allow people to participate and observe. But I think residents also have the responsibility to treat this ability to file complaints responsibly and to make actually legitimate complaints and not just waste everybody's time and the city's resources doing this. Thank you.
Thank you. And for the sake of anyone, and I know there are many who are legitimately concerned about city funds, city budget, and so forth, I will note that the law does not require me to refer these matters to the city solicitor unless I feel it necessary. And in this case, I did not. There was, unless something was taken up on their own initiative, there was no legal department time or money expended on this matter. But there could have been if this was, something that was more convoluted or less obviously frivolous that needed to be untangled by the legal department. And there are many other similarly insubstantial matters filed by this individual that have taken up hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars of legal department funds. Councillor Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think Mr. Vice President hit it right on the head. It was very clear, and I second his thoughts. Given the nature of this complaint, the tenuous nature of the complaint, its source, and the sheer truth that this is vendetta-orientated is not in the interest of open meeting law or order, I make a motion to dismiss. I yield the floor. Thank you.
I second that motion.
All right, I have a motion and second. Councillor Cragen, did you wish to speak on the motion?
Yes, I do. I actually, if it please the President, I would like to ask our city clerks how much time they have already spent on this spurious complaint.
I will have to leave that to the discretion of Councillor Cruz because...
I'll withdraw my motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As much as we love to treat you as the 12th councillor for purposes of the rules, so feel free to answer as you see fit.
What was the question?
How much time has this complainant cost this office?
This one instant or overall?
Oh, let's have both figures, if you're able to. I mean, we've already spent close to 12 minutes on it.
This has probably been about an hour, just printing all the material, circling for the packets and all of that. Probably about an hour of time.
Okay. And larger issues, I mean, particular complainant, how much time?
We did do a round robin at one point as department heads to see what it was. And the issue is it's a 2-hour free period, and a lot of the things are Excel, just extracting documents. But if there's 7 departments extracting that, how long cumulatively is that time that we would have to start measuring? The way it works when you charge a fee, you have 10 days to provide them what the fee is going to be. Do you want me to? So if a public record comes in, I now have to go to all departments and say, okay, this came in, it's Board of Health, Building, Accounting, the auditor, and they would have to tell me how much time they're going to have to take. Then I have to send a letter back to the applicant requester saying, okay, it's going to be 4 hours, $25 an hour. As soon as you have we receive the check, that's now when our clock starts to do the public records work. So now it's just, there's more work up front for my office, because now we have to gather all that information, and most of it is less than 2 hours, if it's just the reports.
So,
Thank you.
I renew my motion to dismiss.
Second.
All right. On the motion, Councillor Giannatali.
I'm going to vote to dismiss because of the facts that were laid out clearly showing that there's no violation. I am not going to partake in all the other comments made about, while it wasn't named, a private citizen who's not here to defend herself. And I will just add that what she's doing, she did for many years under the prior administration, and no one here said a word about it. Thank you.
I'll just note that the matter didn't come to the council under the prior administration, but believe me, I was aware of it and felt very much the same. There just wasn't any particular reason to mention it in open meeting. Anyway, is there any objection to deeming this to be an insubstantial complaint and accordingly dismissing without further action? All right, it is unanimous, and that concludes our business for the...
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and second to adjourn. Seeing no objection, we are adjourned.